What's going on, guys? Austin here, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the extra points lines of the week, and we're going to start off with a week 6 recap. So we've got a nice 2 and 3 week right here. I'm really trying to turn these 2 and 3s into 3 and 2s, and maybe 4 and 1s if I'm even lucky. But for some reason, it just seems that I haven't been able to get many of these right. Bucks and the Steelers hitting the under. That one seemed obvious to me. And the Patriots and the Browns, I was a little nervous about that one, but the Patriots ended up dropping 38 themselves, so I was okay with that. Cowboys and the Eagles, it was a garbage time, scoring in the end that, just really ruined everything. Cardinals and Seahawks, I had no idea that the Cardinals offense could be so horrendous. And the Colts and Jaguars, the Colts basically hit the over by themselves. That one was just, pure miss right there. I thought the Jags and the Colts defenses would step up. Now, the Jets +7 at Green Bay. I liked the Jets heavily in that one. And the Colts -2.5 versus Jacksonville. Those were my favorite bets. I thought both of those teams had a really good chance to win. Now, the Ravens -5. I was really nervous about that game, and I was right to be nervous. But I thought that Baltimore would be able to pull that one out, but they didn't. Now, the 49ers -5.5. I was nervous about them not covering a spread. I wasn't nervous about them not winning the game. That one was crazy to me. And then the Chargers -4.5. Injuries are just catching up to the Chargers in Los Angeles. It's bad. So let's jump into the lines for week 7. I like to start off with the Browns at the Ravens. I like the over 46.5. Now both teams are, favored in that they both hit on average their games in the over. So Cleveland is 5-1 betting the over. Baltimore is only 2-4. But both of them are in positive points, meaning that, the games where they don't hit the over, they're really close. And the games that they do, they're really far out there. I like the Texans at the Raiders, that under 45.5. Now, Houston has a really good defense, and the Raiders, their defense is okay, but they have a good pass rush. Houston is 3-2. The Raiders are only 1-3-1 on the unders. But since Houston is so far on the under and the Raiders are just barely hitting that over, I like the Raiders and Texans under in this spot. Now the Seahawks at the Chargers, over 51.5. This one seems a little crazy, but they're both 3-3. However, they're both in the positive. Now the Chargers used to be in the negative after a couple of really poor early on performances, but the Seahawks are +6.5. And the Chargers are +1, basically. So I like that number here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers ended up winning this game, like 33-26 or 24. Now, the Steelers at the Dolphins, they're going under 44.5. Both teams are 4-2 on the under. Now, Pittsburgh is -2, and Miami is +0.2. This one is my least confident bet right here, especially because Tua is coming back, but I do believe in both teams' pass rushes. So we'll see what they can do. And then the Jets at the Broncos, over 38.5. I really like this one. I think there's going to be a little bit of overreaction to the Broncos. The Broncos are 1-5 on the over. Let's just call it what it is. I think Vegas is just desperately trying to make sure that over-under is too low. And I think that's what happened right here. I think this is a low over-under for this team. I would have liked to see it at, 41.5. And I think that would have been a more comfortable line because I think this game is going to hit the over. I wouldn't be surprised and honestly, I got the Jets winning this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win this game, like a 26-17 or something close to that. And then now on the other side, I'm going to use a lot of the same spreads that I did for the over-unders. I like the Seahawks to cover +6.5 versus the Chargers. The Chargers are 4-2 against the spread, but they're -4.7, while the Seahawks are 3-3 against the spread, and they're +1.3. Both of these teams are incredibly talented on the perimeter, which can lead to blowouts, but I don't think that the Chargers are healthy enough for this to happen. Now, the Jets 1.5 at Denver. Basically, what that means is I think the Jets are going to win the game. The Jets are +8 points against the spread, while Denver is -3 points against the spread. Denver's 2-4. The Jets are 4-2. This game just has upset written all over it. Now, the Texans +7 at the Raiders is an interesting one because both teams aren't that great against the spread. Now, Houston has a winning record, 3-1-1, while the Raiders are 2-3. But Houston's +4, the Raiders are -0.9. All these lines are going to be getting closer and closer as the year goes on because Vegas is going to be looking at these numbers and they're going to be smarter about it. But still, I like the Texans to cover in a low-scoring game. The Falcons +6.5 at Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati is as good as we think they are, but both of these defenses are better than we realize. Atlanta is 6-0 against the spread with an average of 9 points covering it, while Cincinnati is 4-2, but they're losing that by 0.3, right? So they're not covering the spread on average by 0.3. So those two losses are big, and those four wins against the spread are just by a little bit. And then the Ravens -6.5 versus Cleveland. If they don't cover this and if they lose, this is going to be the last time I bet the Ravens for a long time. But Baltimore, they have a losing record. They're 2-3-1 against the spread, and it's very close. It's only -0.01. But Cleveland is 2-4 against the spread with a minus of 4.3. So Cleveland is really the reason why I'm betting this line right here, because what I'm doing is I'm fading Cleveland and giving Ravens Baltimore the benefit of the doubt. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay up to date on all of our future content.